He's Black Guy Fawkes, and I'm, statistically, part of the problem. And together, we are Fawkes and Friends. Today, the third friend who we are talking to about creativity and social justice is MJ Bones.
1, 2, 3, 4. From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, what he got is fucking wrong. His land's not made for you and me. We're chatting built the wall as we tear down bathroom stalls. And watch our kids get slaughtered as they run straight through the hall. Let's go!
Episode 2, baby. How are you feeling, Ian?
I am feeling pretty good right now. I'm excited to sit down with a really good friend of mine for the last few years or so, MJ Bones. MJ is a master at everything ukulele, and I'm really excited just to sit down and just talk with her about what it means to be a Black musician and what our challenges and what we have to go through. And just talk about just the craft of songwriting, what she has coming up next. Because I want good things for her. Everybody should be checking out MJ and all that she does.
Hell yeah. She's actually in my list of top 10 artists I saw perform live in 2023. But other things to be excited about. Ian, what do you have coming up?
Coming up, so as before, I announced that I will be at Camp Pennsylvania, which you can still buy tickets to that. And if you want 10% off, just use the code Black Guy Fawkes, and you'll be able to get 10% off your Camp Pennsylvania tickets for the weekend or daily tickets. And as always, if you want to buy any music, just visit my Bandcamp, Black Guy Fawkes Music at bandcamp.com. Buy a vinyl from Asbestos Records. And you now check out my new website, blackguyfawkes.com, which has just launched. And you'll be able to find all upcoming shows, appearances, and what else is coming up next for this project.
Before we talk to MJ Bones, let's play one of their tracks. If you're listening on Spotify Premium, you'll get the full experience of Maybe by MJ Bones. Bones says this is one of their slept-on tracks, and you can really hear and feel that DIY aesthetic in it.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fawkes and Friends. And today on the show, we have a very good friend of mine from up north in New England, wants from a ukulele, MJ motherfucking Bones. Bones, it's good to have you on.
It's good to be here.
I just want to do it like that. MJ Bones. Bow, 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 bow.
MJ, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
How's life?
Life is life in a way. I'm just slinging drinks, writing songs, being sad and a little rad.
I dig it fully. Yeah, I've known you for it's been like 3 years now, right? I feel like. I guess the first question I have is, how the fuck did we meet?
We met because I don't even remember how I stumbled across your music, but I found your music and I was like, whoa, there's another Black person doing this shit that's not Kimya Dawson. That's crazy. And that's before I ever met Brian, so I was like, whoa. And I really was moved by your message, and I thought it was so cool that you had a birthday fest every year. And I was like, oh my God, he's got his own pint glasses. Like I just was fangirling, and I felt so seen and moved. And I followed you and you followed me back. And I remember that a specific moment because I think I sent you like a heartfelt message or something. And then you like checked out my music, and then we just started like supporting each other obnoxiously online. Like, I really think that's our origin story, what I can remember from it anyway.
That sounds about right. Because I remember I saw that you downloaded, I think, Less Song, More War. And then I saw you left a message. I started following you, and that's why I listened to your music. And first off, I love it. I love the simplicity of just one ukulele, because I don't know why, it's just so calming. And then when I discovered you and listened to some of your tracks, I just really just fell in love with it. I'm like, this is so calm, but so fucking depressing. It's amazing. And then here we are. We were supposed to play together one time in ukulele at Moonshadow, because I think my friend Sullivan, who works out there, shout out, he booked us. Then I forgot what exactly happened. But
My van broke down. I was in Connecticut for like 3 days. It was before I actually moved here. It's part of why I did end up moving here, because I was like, wow, this place is pretty cool. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. But it was my first out of state tour, and I had my rite of passage having my van break down.
I forgot because you're originally from Michigan, correct?
Born and raised. I'm from the Metro Detroit area, and then I lived up north for a long time. And so I was living in the northeastern part of the Lower Peninsula before I moved out to New England. I kind of lived all around the state for a while, moved around a lot as a kid, but I bounced back and forth between like Wayne County, Metro Detroit, where all my family was scattered, and then just like up on the northeastern part.
Where did you start doing your DIY music stuff? Was it back there, or was it New England, or where was it?
That started in Michigan when I was living up north. I started going to open mics, and like I was an erotic theater kid growing up, but that was like easy for me because I wasn't me. I know that sounds so cliche, but I'm like, I'm not me. I'm playing a character. And so I became known as a performer, but it was for like a different thing, you know? And I had always written music, written poems, wanted to sing like my own things, but I felt so nervous about it. I was so shy about it. In my early 20s, I just was hitting a really rough patch in my life, and I felt like I didn't have much to lose. And I was like just really inspired by folk punk. I started discovering like folk punk as a scene and just like the ethics of DIY, getting more in tune with my own identity and my politics and everything. And I was like, okay, the time is now. Like, what's the worst that could happen? So I pushed myself to start going to open mics, just doing like covers and stuff. And funnily enough, I was like seeing this fucking guy, fucking asshole, and I was going to open mics with him. And then I realized I was like, I need to be self-sufficient. Like, I don't like, fuck this guy. I don't want to keep going to open mics with him. And I didn't have enough money to buy a guitar. So I went and I spent all my money on a ukulele because I'm like, next best thing. And I just like obsessively taught myself ukulele so that I could like be my own person and rise above all of my haters, basically. It was so ridiculous.
That is the most punk rock story.
Fuck the haters.
Fuck all them haters.
Not literally, because they don't deserve it, but like that metaphoric, fuck them.
No, literally, fuck your haters. Show them who's boss. Literally, dom your haters.
Dom your haters.
Mommy dom your haters. Grab 'em by the testes. Wait, can I say that?
I don't give a fuck.
It's like radio. Wait, can I say shit?
The only person on the show who's not allowed to say certain things is me.
Exactly.
Say testes.
I can say testes. I can say that.
I'll be referring to the N word, but I'm not sure what this nigga's talking about. So
That is legitimately how he and I became friends, I think, is when he asked me to read that book.
All right, so for those who don't know, I do an annual birthday show called Fawkes and Friends because I love puns and I love my birthday. So invite all my friends down to come play. And this year for my birthday, my good friend Kai Augustine, he got me a book that I shit you not. The title of it was 100 pages of just the N-word over and over again. And you open it up, and it's nigga across the fucking board. We're 37 pages. So, granted, it was a lie. But I was walking, I had to go walk to go get some equipment. I gave it to Anthony. Hey, Ed, you want to read that? And Ed looked at me and just went out loud. It was so funny as shit. So, Ed knows not to say it. Maybe one day he'll say it, but today's not that day.
You'll never catch me.
That sounded so ominous.
I said at the Kmart.
It's an extra
After redacted acts took place.
It's an extra phlegm in my lungs from whatever is fucking me up today.
That's why I got into ukulele and a bunch of a lot of different places too. Like, first off, you got put on by two great acts. Apes of the State, with shout out to April Hart because she's just fucking fantastic. And Kimya Dawson, which I gotta know how was that meeting her alongside playing the same show and being in the same venue.
It was so surreal. I discovered Kimya when I was a kid, and I didn't even know that she was Black at first because, like, I didn't really have the internet or anything. I didn't have the means to, like, look into people, but I remember when I realized that she was, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I felt like, because, I mean, I'm sure you're all too familiar with this. It's like, especially, like, growing up in the 2000s, everyone had, like, a way to be Black. And if you were, like, if you ventured outside of this very narrow caricature of Blackness, then you were trying to be white, you know? And like, so if you were a little like offbeat, if you had certain interests, if you were artsy, I mean, like it literally, like it could be anything. Like people were just like calling anything like whitewashed. And that was like really hard to like form an identity around growing up and to like find someone who looked like me and also was a little off the beaten path like me and didn't like just go fit into this small little box of what it looks like to be a Black woman, you know, like that was so integral to me to like feeling valid as a kid and growing up. And like, so to be on a show with her and then to talk to her and like be in her presence, it was like such a full circle moment for me. Like I had dreamed of that. Like she was literally one of my heroes. It was incredible to share that space with her, and it was such an honor.
First of all, that's fucking awesome. My first time discovering Kimmy personally was through because that soundtrack will forever be fire.
Yeah.
So many of us, yeah, same way.
You talking about this having that representation. Now, this is important because me being young, I didn't have that many musicians to look up to that looked like me.
Right.
But that was awesome about meeting you, then meeting Brian from Day Without Love, and then meeting Drake Talbot.
Why'd you do it?
I joke. I kid. Drake is Drake is a good friend of mine. I pick on him so fucking much.
Through gritted teeth.
Drake Talbot. he is my Dinkelberg, and he's my Ned Flanders, and my Wario to some extent. But if we go back to that, there's not really that many of us in like the folk punk scene or just in punk in general. And when it comes to that, we do get kept alive. And because while the community is meant for everybody, sometimes people like to restrict that for us. And it's harder for us to get on different bills. I think about that a lot, and I'm very grateful to have met you guys that way because we're all up and coming, and it kind of shows that we're not alone. And through that, I discovered bands like Proper that are really fucking good as a punk band. There's so many different other ones too.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys probably both have stories about the casual racism in the punk scene. I mean, I know one of Ian's specifically, but let's ask you, Bones. You got one where it was just like not directly offensive, but like definitely offensive, but like unintentional, and you're like, oh wow, even here, even now.
It happens so much to where like it kind of melds into one. I become like numb to it in a way, and I also am like, it's almost as soon as it's happening, I'm putting it like I'm erasing it. I'm like, nope, like I'm just like pushing it out of my mind. But like usually just like offhanded comments about the type of music I'm playing, or assuming that I don't know my history in punk or anything, or even just like things like grabbing my hair or like saying I look like someone I don't look like, or saying like, oh wow, you don't sing like other Black people, or like things like that. I'm struggling to like bring to mind a specific instance because like I said, they all just kind of meld into one. But I will say that like there have been multiple times where like I've noticed that I am not getting the respect and like the courtesy, like the common courtesy that like other people I'm sharing a bill with will get. And I know that Brian's experienced this too. Whereas like people like not even registering that you are one of their performers, or like trying to heckle you at the merch table and not respecting your prices, violating personal space. Whereas like with like my fellow like white musicians on the bill, like they're actually getting treated like people. And there's like actually like just like a basic level of respect. And I don't know, that happens a lot more often than you would think, even in these punk leftist spaces. And it's pretty discouraging, honestly. It's pretty disheartening. But that's also a big reason why I try to just like kind of numb myself to it, because you kind of have to, you know, and it's not saying that like it doesn't matter, but it's like if I were to get really upset over every time something like this happened to me, then I would not be here still doing this shit, you know? I've kind of like hardened myself to a lot of it. And then I have like made intentional moves to surround myself with people who aren't going to put me in those situations. But I mean, there's obviously only so much that you can do, you know, because racism still prevails, casual racism still prevails. I think that at this point, I've done a good job of like surrounding myself with people who aren't going to do me like that, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I do the same thing with myself, where as Black musicians, we kind of have to vet out who we allow in our circle, because there can be people who use us for, I guess, for this diversity cloud, and we have to protect ourselves from any sort of harm that could come upon us. Like I think about when I want to go play with Violent Femmes, and I asked you to work merch, and that dude just kept fucking bothering you and trying to argue about price, and then try to mess over like the table that you set up and everything.
And it was a white man with dreads. It was a white man with Grinch fingers hanging off his head too. Like that was the insult to injury. A white man with dreads disrespecting me at your show. Like it was so fucked up.
First, I can't disrespect him because I love Sublime. I feel like to some extent we need to protect ourselves, and we can make ourselves numb when we need to, but I feel like it's just expected of us too, because we don't know necessarily if this stuff happens, who's going to stand up for us. I'm also at a point where personally I'm going to stand up for myself, if anything. And if people give me shit for that, telling me I need to calm down or frame me as the aggressor, then I'm at a point where me personally, again, I'm just like, fuck it. Because it's my sanity, that's my people that you are hurting. And I'm here for the same reason, to show what I want to say and to play what I want to play. I don't need you asking why I'm being asked why I'm so angry while I play. And that or while I'm singing these songs. And I've been confused with being somebody's merch person before too. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come to a time where, again, we just need to vet who we play with, on what things we play at, and where we'll feel accepted, and alongside just making sure that we are looked after and uplift each other and get on bills that want on because of our craft, not because of our skin, but because of our craft.
See, I thought Ian was going to tell the story about the compliment he got in California.
Oh, here's a story for you. So while I was playing in Anaheim, first off, Lost Evenings was the best weekend of my life, playing Frank Turner and playing with everybody who I discovered through him. And I thought I got through Lost Evenings scotch-free. But on the last fucking day, I went out to the green room to finish watching Ralph play. I'm talking to Johnny and George from Pet Needs because they're there, because they played before. They're just there for Lost Evenings as well. And pulls me aside and says, "Hey, somebody wants to talk to you." And I'd say, "Okay." I walk over. It's another black dude there. And may I just say, there's only 5 of us there. And he says, "Hey, how's it going?" I went, "Good, how are you?" He's like, "All right, I'm doing pretty well." And he looks at me and says, "By the way, I need you to know, somebody said that I had a really good set on Friday. And I felt like you deserve to hear that more than I did." And I didn't get mad, but in my mind, I just said, "Fucking really?"
Yeah.
Because we all don't look alike. We all do not look alike at all.
Yeah, this guy was
So-
real handsome.
I walked right into that.
Yeah, you did.
I deserve it. Why are you, Andrew? Why you nigga? Fuck you! Don't laugh. We are in this together. Don't laugh at my pain, goddamn.
Laughing at your pain. I was laughing at Ed's hilarity.
That's the same thing.
You know, you talking about that actually did bring to mind like this specific experience I had. It was like years ago at this like dives bar up in northern Michigan, and I'm performing, and I had like just rushed over from work to pick up this show. Like they needed me as an opener last minute. I hop on this show, and I am like 2 songs into my set, which I was supposed to have a 30-minute set. I'm playing my song Punkin' Alone, which isn't really one that I play live anymore, just because it's like a really early song, but it's a song talking about casual and not so casual racism and like misogyny that I experience all the time, being like seen as like the angry Black girl and everything. And halfway through the song, the bar owner just comes up to me and goes, "You can be done." And he hands me $25 and just like cuts my mic and turns up the music and it's like, "You can be
Wow.
done." That was it. That was it, like in front of everybody. And I was like, is it me? Am I the drama? Like, what the fuck? Like, and I knew that it was like, it's because I'm spitting facts. It's because like the shit that I'm saying is too real and this is not the audience for it. But I also was like so angry and a little embarrassed too. And I was pretty pissed off because it's like I rushed here from work. I had to like fight to get the rest of my shift covered to cover your guys' asses because you needed an opener. And just to be like, what did I come here for? I would have made more money if I would have stayed at work, like for $25 and to be cut off in the middle of my song. It was ridiculous.
We get no respect as Black artists, and it sucks.
No.
And then that's one prime example of it. Now let me ask you this because I deal with this. I dealt with a lot. Granted, it comes with my name and everything too. But do you often feel like a lot of white folk just kind of politicize our music in general without even listening to it?
Oh, for sure. I was actually thinking about that when you were saying like how people ask you like, why are you so angry? And it makes me think about how when white people sing like that and talk about things they care about, they're not called angry, they're called passionate. They're called articulate. They're called like all these other things, like, you know, but it's always angry or loud or, you know, just like something with like a negative connotation. I feel like we do get politicized. We definitely do. And there's less grace to be overtly political because like the focus hones in on us as Black musicians and to like what we're saying. And if we're not tiptoeing around things, if we're not like freaking tap dancing and just beating around the bush with what we're trying to say, if, you know, then we will get it hard. You know, it's like, oh, well, we're not doing it right. We're not vocalizing this issue the right way. Oh, we need to tone it down. But our white counterparts get away with being pretty explicit in their message. Not explicit as in like dirty, but explicit as in just like overt. You know what I mean? Like just like they get away with just having it right on the nose, you know, like wearing it on their sleeve a lot more than we do with a lot less flack, tonally speaking.
And then I imagine you get it like doubly so being both Black and femme presenting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's one of those things too when it comes to you see more white folk and music like speaking about it. It's always I feel like the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like it's just something just very surface level, and then we get high praise for being to an extent like a white savior, or like doing something good for the cause. But no, you just said one small thing. Now you made a big deal just because you want to look like, hey, we're protecting this about. Aren't we good people?
Yeah, just throwing in some buzzword.
Exactly. Like just throw around the word Nazi or racist or fascist or bigot. Like, all right, cool. What else do you have to say besides like what other substance do you have? What are you singing about? Is it just base level stuff, or is it actual issues that we face in the Black community today, or the queer community, or any other marginalized community? And
Yeah.
it's for me that's tiresome. And yeah, you and I and Brian and other folk, we're all here singing about real shit that is happening to us IRL, but we just get blatantly ignored by that. It's going to come a time where it's weird, man. Maybe you'll have this opinion too, but I feel like during George Floyd in 2020, during like the BLM protests and police brutality protests, there are a lot of folk that we're trying to push our music and we're trying to actively like I guess promote us and elevate us. And then 2 years later they just stop completely because just the fad was over. And that's how I feel like they view our music or that's how they view like Black Lives Matter in general, where it's just a fad. None of us are going to and then 2 weeks later something new is gonna pop up. And it's frustrating because it's not a fad, it's a fucking movement. And not a new one. It's been going on for decades of us trying to prove that we deserve equity and that we deserve to be heard and not lynched and not brutalized. Be it microaggression, be it actual not casual, but like just blatant racism.
Yeah, I especially dislike the qualifiers that we put on racism. Microaggression, like casual racism, blatant racism. Oh, well, that wasn't racist, or just like all these qualifiers because like yes, in certain contexts, it does help to describe like the nature of an encounter, but also like I feel like a lot of people like use those qualifiers to minimize the impact, and like a spade is still a spade. You know what I mean?
It's yes. If a white person yells at you for something that you did, and then you're quick to apologize, or you're trying to defend yourself, and you're like, "No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You did this wrong." Well, and it's berate you. Then when you as a black person yell at them about something that they did to hurt you, then they try to defend it. You say, "Well, it wasn't that bad, and why did it hurt you so much?" You try to get you to that, and just try to racially gaslight you.
And the tone policing, like, if you said it a little differently, like maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, it's the way you said it. Well, it's the way you went about it, and it's always something. And like piggybacking off of just the whole like the BLM like trend that came out of 2020 and how like we saw in real time people like lose interest in it and just kind of like throw it away. It was like for a while, it was like everyone that you encountered on the internet who occupied these spaces that we occupy had BLM in their bio, had all these like identifiers, like trying to show you their allyship and everything. And like one by one, those identifiers disappeared from their social media, or even like worse, in my opinion, is like they would keep it up, but then like in their everyday lives, like they're actually not really being that ally to the people that they're actually around, having BLM in your bio, but like allowing your token black friend to like take abuse, to take like casual racism and microaggressions from other people that you are surrounded with and not really like using that privilege to stand up for them or to like advocate for them or to really like put your foot down about who you let around, I definitely experienced that in like my personal relationships. And it's just like it was like it was virtue signaling at the end of the day. There was like so much virtue signaling that came out of that era. A lot of people's true colors came out as the years went on. They really did.
It is frustrating because at the end of the day, allyship it's not about bettering other people, calling out other people's bullshit. It's about bettering yourself at the same time. What am I doing to hurt? What am I doing to contribute? And what am I willing to sacrifice? It's lifelong work, and it's just you trying to better yourself and understanding the intersectionalities of it. I thought about this recently because I guess one of the last few years that had me kind of question correct myself and try to unlearn my behaviors. But this isn't necessarily me bragging and like that, but it helped me kind of identify what I need to fix about myself. Somebody put out a statement, it was maybe like a tweet or something, that said, "Black men are the white women of the Black community." And it was confusing at first. I'm like, I don't understand what it means. Why are we being attacked like that? But when I looked more into it, it was speaking about how when we talk about BLM, when we talk about Black Lives Matter, while we talk about police brutality, all the focus is on Black men being killed by the police, but we don't talk about the Black women that have been killed by the police either. So with me being male and cis and het, I had to check my privilege to make sure I'm protecting the other facets of our community. Because again, we're really intersection. Like it's not just blacks, we're not just black folk, and every black folk is cis and het. Like there are black folk that are trans, that are queer, that are lesbian, that are gay, that are non-binary. That we all have to look up, that we all have to protect at the same time too. I feel like when you can understand that lesson of it, you can understand why you need to start looking out for other people that and understand again like that how we're all connected and intersectionalities of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I haven't said this since the start of this podcast, but I feel like I need to say it, nigga. We haven't said it in a while.
Why are you a silhouette right now? You're in the shadow realm. Like, where is your lighting?
I am in the shadow realm.
He's sitting in the dark.
First off, that's a dark joke, and I find that racist, madam.
No, this is terrifying because it's just your silhouette and then freaking Michael Jackson in the background.
Yes.
And just with the way it looks like a toe is being put into Michael's mouth.
It is.
I'm not saying you look like a toe. I'm saying that outline shape is toe shaped.
You said I'm built like a dum dum. Fuck you. Hold on. Let me turn on my light.
He turned on the light just to flip me off. That one wasn't for you. That one was for me. 90% of my friendship with this man is just fuck you over and over again, back and forth, I think.
That's a beautiful thing.
Those are the best friendships.
Yeah.
Let's be real for a second. I guess to backtrack like a wee bit, I guess I'm going back to music. I want to talk about a cover I want to talk about a song you just put out. Why I heard that you did this song, I could not fucking believe it. I discovered you and I that we relate a lot to one band, My Chemical Romance, and you covered arguably, I love them, but probably the third best track off of Beaches of Sweet Revenge, which is the Jet Set Life Is Going to Kill You.
I don't know what you're talking about. Does that sound like something I would do? Cover My Chemical Romance? Do I look emo to you in my Hawthorne Heights hoodie?
I guess first off, what inspired out of all of MCR's discography anthology, what inspired that song out of curiosity? Because it is a great song, but I'm curious on what inspired you clearly cover of that.
Well, it was actually, are you familiar with Beautiful Rat Records?
I am not.
So right when Beautiful Rat Records first started, it was a couple of years ago, I think 2021. They were just getting off the ground as like a DIY record label. And I just had happened upon like people retweeting their call for musicians to hop on their very first release, which was a My Chemical Romance cover compilation. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll hop on this. And Jet Set Life is just like hands down my favorite MCR song. I mean, like, go neck and neck with like Kill All Your Friends, I will say. But like, I don't know, it probably is my favorite MCR song.
And
It's
inspired
at least
choice.
in the top two. Yeah, it's so good. And I just wanted to do like a spooky folk punk cover of it. I don't know. I was like, to me, like I didn't even think about it. Like they're like, well, what song do you want to do? And I'm like, Jet Set Life. And I didn't think that anyone would have claimed it yet either, because I feel like it's a little slept on. You know?
It is. Like, most of their deep because they're really slept on. Like my favorite song isn't like every semi emo kid's favorite Welcome to Black Parade. Like
is that anyone's favorite MCR song?
All like this. I feel so bad gatekeeping. I don't want to gatekeep, but I'm going to because it's my podcast. The surface level ones, they're the ones who like that. My favorite MCR track, and I only can do top three as well. But my favorite MCR tracks are Sleep, Mama, and Headfirst for Halos. What are
Okay.
yours?
Definitely Jet Set Life Is Gonna Kill You. Vampires Will Never Hurt You. And in that number 3 slot, that's hard. it's probably Kill All Your Friends, but I don't know. Maybe it's Give 'Em Hell, Kid.
Another inspired choice. My honorable mention honorable mentions will probably have to be Our Lady of Sorrows and Thank You for the Venom.
Mm.
And I won't say it's my favorite like studio track, but live song. Prison is just a fucking bop. Like it's
Mm.
so much fun. So
I would say an
well,
honorable mention for me is Ghost of You because like yes, like that is one of their bigger ones, but like it goes so hard. It goes so hard. Like I can't not scream along to it every time I hear it. It's just like it's iconic.
exactly. It's we could talk all day about this, right? I also have tattooed on my arm anyway, so I'll probably end up getting more. But
I'm happy it didn't come around to me to ask me my favorite MCR songs because
Oh, that's a great point. What are your favorite
So I had
MCR
to-
songs?
I had to look up My Chemical Romance. I didn't know your song was a cover. I just thought it was a really good song.
You're not the first one who said that to me.
but-
Like I've had
but-
several other people think that was my song. I'm like,
But
what?
Ian knows this. I have gaps. There are things that I don't know. I love Laura Jane Grace, and I probably could not tell you 5 Against Me songs because I discovered her as a solo artist because Against Me was just out of my wheelhouse at the time.
Valid.
Yeah. And then so MCR is just like the shit that my younger friends listen to, and I was like, I don't need to know about this. I know the song Teenagers because I've heard people sing that at karaoke. I do know what Welcome to the Black Parade is the one that starts off with the piano notes that everybody makes that thing about on
G.
TikTok, right? See, I know a
Just
little
the G
bit.
note.
I know a little bit. I am just not hip and cool enough to be in the room with you two.
well,
Shut up.
yeah, that's first off that's fairly accurate.
Yeah,
But
he's right. I am not. I am here because I know how to hit buttons.
what do you have planned next? Like for 2024 or just onward? Are you writing new stuff? Are you recording or?
I'm sitting on my next album. It is ready. Like it is completely ready. And so 2024 looks like running a promo cycle, deciding like which songs I want to maybe release as singles and putting out the album. I originally wanted to put it out in January because I was so excited to get it out, but I decided to hold back. And in the past, I would like set a release date and then I'd be like busting my ass to get the album done. And so this time I actually like took my time, recorded over like 2 months and made sure that I was happy with everything. And now I have it. The ball is just in the court of like when I want to put this out into the world, but I'm like bursting at the seams too because like doing everything myself. I've been teaching everything to myself too, so like yeah, I've got demos and things that are up right now, but like they also reflect a period where I wasn't as good at mixing my tracks. My ear wasn't as attuned. I mean, then there's the whole like era where I was on the wrong medication and I can't even listen to that shit because I'm like, oh my God, like I can hear it. I can hear me not being okay. Like it's just like I'm like, oh my God, how did I think that this piece of shit was a good mix? Like, and that's I'm gonna put a pin in that because I could go on about it. But I really am excited to like release stuff that I'm proud of that reflects who I am now as an artist, as a songwriter, and as someone who produces all my own things. And I have gotten pretty good at just producing an end result that matches with what I had in my head at the start. And I'm so excited to show that growth to people and to have some more things under my belt, that aren't just angsty songs that I wrote, some when I was a teenager and then some in like my early 20s, like things that I've written like as like an almost 30-year-old now, like where I am now and like how like my sound has evolved, how my ability just playing has evolved, and like where I'm at spiritually now. I am looking at some split releases with a couple cool people this year and thrown in a couple tours there as well. Just like promoting the new music. I want to get some new merch out. I'm sitting on like a lot of stuff right now that I just kind of have to press the go button for. And I'm trying to really do this right. I'm trying to really like quell my excitement and take my time and be a little more intentional with my releases and actually like making sure that like people are hyped for it, because like I am notorious for literally just dropping a track. So just surprise, I dropped a track and like just and no one knows about it. I'm like, oh hey, and like a lot of my fan base loves that. They're like, oh my gosh, like, like the people who are really like tuned in, like they love that I will just like that I kind of like a wild card in that way. But with the stuff that I'm sitting on now, I really want to make sure that people are going to listen to it and listen to these stories and listen to what I have to say.
That's awesome. Well, I know we are very much looking forward to seeing what else comes out of this. And I'm ready to hear this new evolved sound that you have. Maybe one day I'll switch to 16 instead of 4. But so me and Egg, we ask like random ask questions.
All right, let's go.
What's so great about Connecticut pizza?
I've heard that it's the water that makes the pizza so great here. But I will say that the crust, delicious. You have like a good, like, it's like a good crispy foldable pizza. You can just bite into it. I come from the Midwest where like, it like Detroit pizza and Chicago pizza, like it's all like very like you have like really thick crust. It's super saucy. It's the complete opposite of New England pizza. And that's the pizza I was raised on, and I'm fully converted now. And like that's how I know I'm a true New Havener too, because I actually have very strong opinions about the pizza now. It's not fucking modern, it's not Pepe's, and it's not Sally's. I'm telling everyone right now, the best pizza here is SSS on Park and Chapel. And they do it the best. Like that's all I can say. But yeah, the Connecticut pizza is just so good because it's thin, it's crispy, it does what it needs to do, and apparently there's something in the water.
I have personally found Detroit style pizza. I feel like it's better than Detroit because it's a lot lighter. So I love both New Haven and Detroit style. It's hard for me to pick which one because number one will flop either way. But I do agree that when we had Modern, when I wanted to go visit you, that was just delicious. As long as I didn't know that mashed potato pizza was a fucking thing. But let me tell you, it works. I don't know how, but it fucking works and it's delicious. What artists do you want to work with in the future? Who do you want to write a song with? Who do you want to record with?
Well, my ultimate dream is to be pulled up on stage during Plate Glass Apology at an ape show and doing harmonies with her. I would really love to play with Kimya again. And like it's mutual. She said, let's play together again sometime, like I would love to work with her and just like foster that connection a little more. I would absolutely go apeshit to work with Jeff Rosenstock or Laura Jane Grace. And I know that's pretty big, like maybe that's like a pipe dream, but Jeff Rosenstock is one of my favorite musicians of all time. And like,
dude's wild. Dude's so wild.
It's an absolute dream of mine to like be on his radar. I don't know. I kind of just want to play with as many people as possible. I think it'd be cool for us to finally do a split release or something together. Like that's been in my back pocket for a while. I'm just like, maybe one day, Ian and I can release a split together.
We'll talk. I'll say that we will talk.
I just think it would be a powerhouse. It would be unstoppable.
I'd probably buy a copy.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure, MJ, musically, if you have one?
Hyperpop,
Hyperpop?
like 100 Gex, like Aisha Erotica, like freaking being like just whiny, techno-y, audible glitter, bubblegum.
Give me your Mount Rushmore of idols of yours.
Okay. Jeff Rosenstock, Dan Andriano from Alkaline Trio.
Inspired choice. It's why we're best friends. Nigga.
No, like Daddy Dan. Oh, no one tell him I said that though. I know you guys talk regularly. Don't tell him I called him Daddy Dan.
This episode, I'm sending him this episode.
Nah. Patrick Stump on there. Someone has to give him his flowers. And I'll gladly give him his flowers. He's on there. And then Mike Park, honestly, like of Asian Man Records, like
Okay.
he needs to be on there. Like just he's such a powerhouse of an individual.
First of all, I'm glad you also enjoy Dan and John as much as I do, because he is probably my favorite lyricist in the whole Alkaline Trio. Like
Yeah.
his songs are just so good, and his solo stuff too, with Emergency Realm and with the Bygones. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I have a playlist of just Dan tracks, like Alkaline Trio songs, but they're just Dan songs. And that's no hate to Matt. I love both of them. I love the duality of them. You know, I love how they like juxtapose each other, but Dan is my favorite. Like there's just he just does something to me, you know. It's just his style of songwriting, his bass lines, just it's incredible. It's delicious.
And as far as Patrick Stump is concerned, he's so overlooked as a not just as a producer, just as an artist in general, because his voice is the best voice in all of pop punk, and I would die
He's a
on that hill.
genius. Yeah, and he truly at the time people were not doing that. Like he was an R&B vocalist that came into the punk scene, and like in Evening Out with Your Girlfriend and Take This to Your Grave, you can still kind of hear how he's like almost like holding back in order to like fit into like the punk style. But when you get into like From Under the Cork Tree, Infinity, and High onward, like he's not holding back anymore, and he's bringing his full self into it. And that's part of what like made them so unique, what made them so controversial, and what literally changed the face of pop punk for a whole new generation of listeners. And I will also die on that hill. Like we need to give him his flowers. He's a fucking genius. Like
Wait, well, and you're saying to depending on High, I love Cork Tree no matter what. Some of the best songs are on Cork Tree. Like Our Lawyer is one of my favorite songs of all the Gene
that
Jones.
is one of my favorite songs. Oh my God. Twin.
Just twinsies, nigga. Anyway, I got your another channel. Infinity on High is such a, in my opinion, that when I think about Fall Out Boy, I think of that record, because as much it all has my favorite song, which I feel like is my soundtrack song, which is At the Life of the Party, which is so
Beautifully, by
moving.
the way.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page when it comes to Fall Out Boy and Dan and Giano and MCR and just black music in general, because all this is ours, and everybody who I know that is a black musician, like personally or just virtually, everybody needs to just get hip on. You, Brian from They Want Love, Buffalo Nichols, Chuck Daniels, everybody needs to get put on. And they need to get put on as much as they possibly can. Everybody deserves their flowers. But fuck them niggas. This podcast is about you. So I'm giving you your flowers. And you are one of the best people that I know. I'll say that with a whole heart. I will take many bullets for you.
Thank
Well,
you.
no, I would take 3. I'll push Ed in the way of the rest of them.
I would take one for Bones willingly.
You're just one? That's racist.
I'm just a little guy.
At least 3 to 5 of them. At least 3/5 of the bullets.
I would steal like 7 taquitos for them. Just
that's real.
7
True
taquitos
devotion. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true friendship right there.
with my bare hands.
Well, Bones, this has been a lot of fun, man. It's been a pleasure. Do you have anything else you want to leave people with? Any new projects?
You can follow me pretty much anywhere that it matters at MJ Bones Music. I have stuff on Bandcamp. I do all my own art, all my own everything. Yeah, like show me some love. I'm on all the socials. I'm on Bandcamp, and stay tuned for new music. And it's really it's been a pleasure to be on here. I'm super honored and excited that I get to do this podcast with you. you mean so much to me, Ian, as a musician, and I fucking love you, and I had so much fun with you when we hung out back in November. So this has really been like the highlight of my day, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that like you care about little old me and what I have to say. Like it's just
Corey, and I will love you till the end of the time, to the death of the universe.
This show is the brainchild of Black Guy Fawkes, folk punk trio. You can find him on all the social medias as Black Guy Fawkes or Black Guy Fawkes Music, as well as on his website, blackguyfawkes.com. The intro and outro are both from the song New American Meltdown by Black Guy Fawkes, so that's legally covered because this is his podcast, and that is his song, available on the album Life, Love, and the Bomb. Additional music elements provided by Fab Shop Music, a royalty-free music subscription service for podcast hosts and YouTube creators. More info at fabshopmusic.com. Sound design and editing by Ed Cunard, who appears courtesy of his dog and many, many cats. Cover art by Jacob Matthews, a pal who has been down since day one. Fawkes and Friends is hosted on Spotify for podcasters. Listen on Spotify for the best experience because we can't play everyone's songs in full legally anywhere else. Finally, while Fawkes and Friends firmly believes that punk rock is and should be a safe space, we know it can't be safe for everyone without excluding bad elements. So remember.
So tell your local Nazis and your fascists to fuck off.
I'm just gonna hit that recording button so we don't miss anything good.
being recorded.
Yeah, and I look like a cop, which makes it so much worse.
Oh, no, you're a parole officer.
Look, I look like I'm gonna ask you to buy weed in a very bad Jamaican accent, man.
The difference is your cam is on.
Yeah, my camera. Oh, I got that was good. That was fucking good. That was fucking good.
Yeah. Like I was like, wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm living on little orange pills today, and they are making my brain go sideways.